So this YouTube channel is now 2 years old, but it's not as old as my website, which is almost 10 years old now. So I started in audio, writing about audio gear, taking photos, putting them on a website. And only 2 years ago did we start doing videos in earnest, videos like this. And so today I thought I would spend some time explaining what it is we're trying to do here, what it is we do, what it is we don't do, really for the benefit of newcomers or for people who haven't really quite got a handle on what the hell I'm talking about. So because I'm self-employed, I get to decide, quite fortunately, the parameters of what I do. So, for example, my job isn't really to tell you exactly what to buy. My job is to point you at interesting things. So bits of gear, bits of software, bits of hardware that I think are interesting, that you might also think are interesting. But this is not the definitive take on what is best, because best depends upon you, not me. So my job is really to call out the differences between 2 pieces of gear or even 3 pieces of gear and explain those to you so you've got a better idea of what might suit you best, because I don't know you, I don't know what music you like, I don't know your domestic situation, your financial situation, I just don't know you, so I can't tell you what to buy. Now a lot of people still email me asking me this question, like, of these 3 things, which one would you buy? But I just can't answer this. And I do have an FAQ on my website, and it sits right above the contact form that explains really what I do and how I work, and really the reasons why I can't give buying advice. So please, please, I implore you to read that before sending me an email asking for advice, because I can't really give it. Now, obviously, what I do here, the opinions that I give are entirely subjective. We don't do measurements, so kindly don't ask for them. We don't do blind tests. So if you want that, if you want double blind testing, you need to find somebody else to talk to you about hi-fi. Find another publication, please. And I mean that politely. It's just that insisting on something that I don't do isn't going to change what I do. Like I said, I'm self-employed. I define the parameters here without wanting to sound too bolshy, but really, I've been doing this for 10 years now, so I've got a kind of handle on what works and what doesn't for a large chunk of people. Now, on one level, what I'm doing here is reflecting the shopping process. So if you want to buy a new piece of gear, you might go to a dealer and go and listen to it. And if you're really lucky, he'll let you take it home and you can listen to it at home. And that's really what I'm doing. I'm doing a more elaborate version of that. So I talk to manufacturers, they send me gear for 12, 16 weeks. I play with it at home, and then I report my findings to you guys through this channel, through my website. I don't go to dealers with like an audio precision piece of gear and ask to hook it up to an amplifier or a DAC, because that would be insane, and you don't do that either. So really what I'm talking about here are extended home demos. So what I'm not doing is quickly A-Bing, play a track, swap the cables, play another track. I'm not doing that. The way I review gear is that I plug something in, I put it into the system, I listen to it for about a week, and then I swap it out and I listen to something else for about a week. And over a period of time, I can work out how product A is different to product B. Now, before you ask, no, I don't get free gear. The gear that I review here, once I've done the review, it goes back to the manufacturer. Sometimes they'll let me hold on to it for further listening, to use it effectively in comparisons with other gear that comes in, which is really the linchpin of what I do, is comparisons, which is why I said earlier on, my job is to tell you how this compares to that and not what's best. So really, most of the review videos that I make are based around product A and how it differs or is the same to product B. One thing I should also point out is I never get into the minutiae of sound quality from stuff that I hear at audio shows. We make videos about audio shows. I don't talk about sound quality based upon what I hear at those shows, because to be honest, if I did, I would be bullshitting you. But also at those shows, I come across a lot of very expensive gear, like crazy money gear, you know, that you'd basically have to be a multimillionaire to afford. Now, I don't cover that. That's not really my remit. But I do cover gear that many of you will still think is crazy expensive. So 15 grand speakers, 10 grand DAC. It's not always like that. I try and do affordable stuff as well. So I'm very much into Raspberry Pi streaming. My turntable over here it's a fairly modest affair in the grand scheme of high-end audio. But you have to realize that high-end audio is expensive. So you will encounter me talking about very, very expensive gear. Now, just because it's not relevant to you doesn't mean it's not relevant to somebody else. So please bear that in mind. I try and do a reasonably healthy mix of affordable gear and high-end gear, but this is a high-end audio channel, so I have to sometimes tackle the costly stuff. Now, if you watch a number of my videos, and I would advise you to watch a number of my videos to get the flavor of what I do, because if you just watch one, you might just think that all John listens to is electronic music. And that is absolutely not the case. There are many, many videos where I detail different music. So mainly like alternative rock, indie rock, the stuff that's covered on Pitchfork or Rolling Stone, that kind of stuff, as well as the stuff that's covered by Resident Advisor or Fact magazine. However, I don't listen to classical music. I don't listen to jazz. I don't listen to opera. And not only are they not to my taste, which is why I don't listen to them, but I also think that if you're into audiophile type gear, you are extremely well served by other publications, like extremely well served. So I'm trying to do something a bit different. So please, again, don't email me or at me telling me I should listen to this other music, because I'm self-employed and I get to determine the parameters of this channel, and I can't be all things to all people. So I'm trying to be very informative and entertaining, let's not forget entertainment, for the people who are into the same music as I am. And if that's not you, then I'm sorry, that's just too bad. Now, for every video that I make, where relevant, I do create playlists for Tidal, Qobuz and Spotify, and I put those in the description box. And we need to talk about the description box because many of you ask questions that are answered by links or content in that description box. That's the box full of text that sits just below the video. So you'll see it in a web browser and in the app. I think some of you, if you're watching on Android TVs, you might not see it. But you need to go and try, you need to find it and have a look at what I've put in there, because that fleshes out the story of the video. Now, I also get a lot of questions about the music used inside the videos themselves, because I can't use copyright protected music in the video, so I have to get copyright cleared music for the video. So that's different to the review music playlists. But what I've started doing is putting the video music inside the review music playlist, because a lot of people seem to like it and want to know what it is. And again, that is linked in the description box below. So that description box is very powerful for me, it's very important to me, and I would love it if you would take a little bit of time to find it, read it, dig into the links. Also in that description box, I link to other gear that you see in the video that is not the subject of the video. So ancillary gear like other DACs, amps, CD players, my rack, other speakers. I mean, behind me right now, we've got a pair of KEF LS50 in their passive incarnation. Behind me, and you can't even see it, I don't think, is the Bluesound Powernode 2i. So I put those links in the description box. Now, I put all of my findings into these videos. So when I test a piece of gear, everything that I have learnt about it through testing it, I put in the video. So emailing me, asking me for further thoughts on that piece of gear, I'm sorry, that's a waste of your time and mine. I don't mean that rudely, it's just that if I've learned something, I'll put it in the video. I'm not leaving stuff on the floor, on the cutting room floor, and thinking, nah, that's not relevant. I do try to make sure that these videos are as thorough as possible, but equally I have to try and keep them definitely under 30 minutes long and optimally under 20 minutes. I mean, these videos are long and there is a lot of work that goes into them. As you know, as I've explained, weeks of listening. And then it takes me, for example, like an entire day to write the script for a video. And then it takes us about a day to shoot and then 3 or 4 days to edit. So I hope you understand, I hope you better understand the amount of work that goes into this YouTube channel. And I want to thank you for being a subscriber. If you are, thank you for watching this video. Thank you for taking an interest in what I do, because without you watching, then I wouldn't really have a YouTube channel to speak of. But I do, so thank you. So if you really like the vibe of what I do, then please consider subscribing to this channel if you haven't already. And as always, as with every video, thank you genuinely for watching.